We're in the park to talk about how I played into this over time and maybe help everyone who's involved in it realize that they're almost a victim of circumstances. The old park board, created in the 1800s and revised by myself and Mayor Schaefer in the 1980s, that park board had total dominance over all of the parks. Nothing happened in the park, any place, unless they approved it. They had both administrative and policy. They made a budget, they ran the park system, they were the first and last word. In the 1980s, I felt like we should move that board to an advisory status, which it is today. That was a huge mistake, in my opinion, because the park board was the gatekeeper. They were the people who said no about the park system, even though it was not classified. That is, neighborhood parks are this, squares are this, and so forth. If that classification existed, it was way back when. And pretty soon, over time, it was just their judgment about what's appropriate to be in a park. And they had good judgment. But over time, the conflict is developed because there becomes a contest between what people want to do, what the mayor wants to do, and so forth in these various parks. And I call it opportunistic development. So, we don't have any classification for our parks. We don't have any rigor. We don't have any definition. It's just parks. And, that invites all kinds of development, all kinds of ideas, and that's what's happened in our city. And when the ideas emerge and things happen, the neighbors are pushed back. The people who feel strongly about the parks really aren't involved. Now, if we had some rangers in here in uniform, like they have in other parks, Central Park, park rangers, to give a presence, to be here, walk around, that probably would give you a sense of security. Plus, they could tell you about the park. Let me give Denver as an example. They have a system that causes there to be a neighborhood park 15 minutes from walking distance from every home safely. That's their policy. New York is planning to, by the end of this decade, I think, go to 10 minutes walking distance safely to a neighborhood park in all of the 5 boroughs of New York City. We don't have a plan like that. The park development decisions have been opportunistic in almost an organic pattern. Just a little bit here of this, a little bit here of that. As I said, a dog park down there, an ice rink here, a parking lot there. And these things are in contest because the park has not been classified. Let's just suppose we classified it historic, and we made sure that everything that was done here was a protection of the original design, basically. That would be one aspect of the classification that would work to protect a park. We give it that classification, we operate within that parameter. That's not been done here. So all kinds of things can happen, and it's in contest, it's in play. So we have no gatekeepers, we don't have a park system, and it forces us to make poor decisions.